What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday, CHF here, and today we are going through a podcast, a little bit different, guys. It is a long one, so make sure, hit the like button if you like the video, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and if you don't want to miss an upload, make sure you hit the bell icon. So, guys, during my charity live stream in the wee hours of Sunday morning, Madden Mobile Slay came into the stream. He was hanging out there. We were chatting just there, and I said, you know, Slay, why don't you hop on? So this is going to be a podcast, guys. It was Madden Mobile Slay, where we were talking about kind of the rise of Madden Mobile, the fall of Madden Mobile, and what we think ultimately it would take to revive this game. It is a long one, guys, so make sure, you know, I'm not going to put video or anything. It's just going to be something to listen to. So, you know, if you're going about doing other things, just play it in the background, guys. But if you care about this game, I'd love to hear your thoughts on all the things we talk about, guys, because we really did put a lot of thought into what we think it would take to revive the game. And I hope EA listens. I don't think they will, especially since it's kind of coming from people that they're probably not the biggest fans of. However, you know, at the end of the day, I think both of us, while we're very different and while we don't agree on everything, you know, we both care about the game. We both want to see the game do well. And guys, I think you're going to like some of the ideas here. So sit back, relax. There's nothing to watch, just something to listen to, guys. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. But let's go ahead and hop into the podcast with Madden Mobile Slay. Slay, why don't you say what's up to the people, man?
What up, people?
What up, peeps?
Hold up, I'm gonna try and get it with. I have another phone for my work, so I'm gonna try and pull up the chat while we're talking.
All right, man. So make Madden Mobile great again. Kind of came up with the idea of, you know, what would it take to make this game alive again. My thought was, you know, when I look at how this game launched, and, you know, being that I was a game changer when it happened and I was like helping promote this game when it launched, I obviously talked to a lot of people in the community. So when we were like a week into the game and I see everyone like, oh, this game sucks and people are quitting, that was a really bad sign. And I think that like the only chance that EA has is when they drop next year's version of the game, it has to be one that like when we as a community put our hands on it for the first time, we say, wow, this is a good game. I feel like if that's the first impression, like as a whole, where most people who get Madden Mobile 20, Season 6, whatever you want to call it, if they say, wow, this is a good game, I mean, I still talk to people who don't play anymore. And I'm telling you, if they got people who said, wow, like if the first thing is CHF says, wow, Slay opens the game and Slay says, wow, people will come back next year when they get that fresh start. But if they can't do that, we're probably screwed.
Totally. Well, I think it's kind of one of the things where it's like we've seen with, you know, the past year or two of the game slowly coming to an end. You see like who the real dedicated players are. Like right now, people who are still actively playing, people who are watching the chat, like these are the people who are kind of the ride or dies. And although we are the ones that are talking crap, in reality, we'll never really quit unless something crazy happens. So the real trick is how do they recapture all the, I would say 75% of what was the community, you know, 2 years ago. How do they recapture? And I think it'd be kind of cool to think about what are the things that initially intrigued you when you first came to the game? Like what captured you? What was, or even for the chat, a question for the chat, like what was something or the main priority that made you continue to play Madden Mobile right when it first downloaded, you know?
Yeah, so I want to hear your thoughts on this, because everyone knows I'm kind of one of the goody two shoes. Even though I'm not a game changer anymore, I'm still very much fair play, anti-coin selling, all of that. But I know you've been not promoting coins. I'm sure you've had huge offers because I know it's still going on, but you've made that decision to not. And one of the things that someone was saying was make the auction house go back to the old way. And I look at that and I say that can't happen. As much as we may like it, coin selling, in my opinion, destroyed it. It can't happen again. What are your thoughts on that one now? You know, now that you've been kind of out of that game, I mean, I feel like early on, it probably wasn't as big of a deal, but when it proliferated and you got to the point where it was like 1 million coins for under $1, I just don't see how they could undo that. What do you think on that?
I honestly don't think that. I think the auction house is something that's like it's supplementary and complementary to like the main promos that are the actual draw. I feel like the auction house. I don't think that it should go back to now. Here's ideally, I would love to be able to have a free market where I could buy my buddy's card, and then of course he takes benefit from that. But I think ultimately what happens with that is that if you look back in the history of Madden Mobile, it only sparked more glitches. The auction house being free and open only caused bigger problems where ultimately people took advantage, because why would you not take advantage of something that's going to help you in the game, especially if it's EA's fault? And then people got banned. So I think with the auction house, I think they have to figure out more, how can they make the auction house more efficient in terms of like making the bot smarter. Like the bot has to be able to understand the trends of a promo and understand that the influx of cards means that the prices can't necessarily be the same. And I think they're continuing to work on that kind of aspect of the bot. But in terms of it being free and open, I mean, as much as I would love for that to come back, I do think that it caused more problems than we kind of give it credit for. And I honestly don't think the auction house is the biggest problem with the game.
No.
Initially, I did. Initially, I was like, the auction house is like the heart and soul of the game, which I believe in terms of it being a big part of the game, it is. But I mean, you have the people who like don't ever give a crap and spend time in the auction house, and then you have like people who like are dedicated enough to make whatever EA's crappy system work. Like I know we have people that are like, we both know people who are just crazy good at the auction house, and even when the auction house was super, able to take advantage of, when it was locked, when it was closed, when it had bots, it didn't matter to those people. I mean, it's still something that they had to adapt to. So I don't necessarily think the auction house would be that big of a change. And I don't think the auction house needs to be changed necessarily for next year to be more successful.
I'd agree. Hey, welcome, Joel. Welcome back, man. I'm just dragging Slay in here, guys. So a lot of people, Slay and I go like back to my start on YouTube. Y'all don't even... Slay was one of my original 100 subscribers. Like, no joke. The only reason that my channel got the initial boost it did is because Slay shouted me out when I had 107 subscribers and I woke up to like 600 emails because he felt the need to bless my channel. Oh my gosh.
You left the emails on for subscribers. I remember that.
Yeah, dude. My email box was a nightmare that day. And like right after that, because dude, when you're new, when you have like 10 subscribers, you're excited when you get a new subscriber. So you have, have the I want an email. Oh, look, dude, I got 2 new subscribers today, and it was exciting. And then I wake up to like 600 and something emails in a day. I agree with you, man. Like, as much as I would like that normal auction house, I think the auction house this year is still workable. I can tell you, I mean, you look at Random Jerry, for example. Random Jerry
totally
has a better team than me, and he took probably 3 months away from the game. But he spends a lot of time in the auction house. He enjoys it. So as much as he may like the old auction house better, he adapted to it. And I think of like Tybron. Tybron is, in my opinion, the best coin maker that I've ever met. Like, that, it didn't matter that they change it. He spends enough time in there that he figures it out, and he's a boss. He's got, and I played him earlier. He did a donation game, and I'm blessed. I have no idea how the heck I beat him, because he's got a 99 offense and 98 defense and like 2,400 power. And I just got lucky beating Ty. But he's free to play. He hasn't spent a dime on the game, and he's got that team with the brokered auction house all year. So I think, Make Madden Mobile Great Again came up with a few points. That was the one point that I disagreed with him on. But he said, changing the name back to Madden Mobile. I think you and I can both agree on that.
Yeah. I think that's huge. Like, because think about it. They literally, like, imagine, I almost see this game as like, it almost came like they promoted like a separate app, like Madden Overdrive. I would, you know what I'd be down with? I'd be down with Madden Overdrive being a separate app to Madden Mobile, because if you do a Madden Overdrive, then you kind of have this like smaller extension where it's like you can play with friends on head to head. But I think that like the whole fantasy point thing is like dope, but that's not what people come to play Madden for. I come to play for 6 points and 2 points and 3 points. Like, that's what I come to play for.
Football.
That's why I watch football.
Yeah. If I want fantasy, I'm going to FanDuel or DraftKings.
Totally. Yeah, of course.
You know, and that's real football. I agree there. What I would have thought is, and this is the one thing I don't get, right? Overdrive. When you look at it, there's some people out there who genuinely love the Overdrive game mode and who are really good at the Overdrive game mode. My question is, why do you take something that has been 4 years, an extremely successful product, and say, you know what, we're going to change the core of this? To me, like when I think of things when I'm changing something in my business, or I would think you can probably relate to it as a content creator. Sometimes we take a chance or take a risk or do something different, right? And when we do that, we don't go all in and just say we're going to abandon everything that we've done that makes people like us and only do this new thing. Overdrive should have been an added game mode. Like you have regular head-to-head and then you have this additional Overdrive mode. That way people could go in there and say, ooh, I like this, and grind it hard. And all of the people who like Overdrive would have that there. But everybody else who liked classic head-to-head, it would still be there.
Totally.
Like, it just baffles me because I'm a small business and I know that you don't do that. You stick with your core, and if you're going to make some kind of change, you start small before you go all in on it. To just go all in on something that millions of people playing a game didn't ask for, didn't inspire. They just don't want that dumped on them if you're going to take everything else that they like away. If you want to add that in as, hey, here's this cool new feature. Oh, you guys asking about the frame rate. So Slay, you haven't been around. I've been at this since about like 11, and I've had double Wi-Fi issues. So I had to, like, after the last time of like cussing out Spectrum and dealing with a bunch of nonsense, I just went and had to go to 3 stores and I bought $50 in cable and have random cable just running through my house, so I'm hardwired to make sure the stream doesn't die the rest of the way out.
Ghetto stream.
It is, yeah. I mean, because I look at it. Some people, like there's some streamers I look at, the streams always lag. Maybe it's just me. I'm a perfectionist. Like, I don't think that people watching my stream should have to deal with any lag. Not on my end. Not on my end. If they're lagging on their end, hey, that's on you. But for me, if I'm not going to put out a good quality stream, I'm not going to stream, period. That's, so Slay, can you see the chat here?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Cause yeah, I mean, well, Regeer, one, at least for me, I'm sure Slay, thank you for watching our videos a lot. As content creators, we appreciate you guys. I know I do. And yeah, I mean, Regeer, I understand why you wouldn't watch. If you don't play the game anymore, I totally understand why you wouldn't watch our content. We're making content for the game. And that's why I know I'm passionate, and I know Slay is passionate because, I consider Slay a friend at this point. We talk outside of the game. I think Slay wants the same thing I do. We both want a really good game that you guys enjoy so that we can make you guys content that we're proud of. And we have differences in content, right? Slay? I mean, we're different with what we do, but I mean, I respect you as a content creator. I look to you almost as a YouTube mentor. I've told you that before. You've helped me out immensely when I was, a little baby channel, not just with the shout out, man, but just with help in just help as a content creator. Like, it's not something I talk to everybody a lot, but that's the reason why I consider Slay a friend, guys. Like, he's a genuinely good dude. And he's helped me a lot as a creator. And, yeah, I mean, so yeah, we do have a sniper.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate it. And it's been cool to see. I think it's even cool to have someone like you who I guess is so, and personally for me, so much more wise. Cause I mean, I literally, of course I've always been bigger than you, but even getting to see how you run your channel, then even some of the things initially that like I'd be about to do specific things and you'd be like, yo, hold off. Like, you've definitely helped me in terms of like accountability, which has been super, super big blessing. But
you're still a little clickbaiter, but I get it. And guys, if you guys think Slay is clickbait, you must not spend a lot of time on YouTube, because Slay clickbait's more than me for sure, but there is some stuff on YouTube that is just that takes Slay.
It takes okay,
to a whole
hold
new
on.
level
Yes.
of clickbait.
Let me explain my philosophy on clickbait. Okay,
Yeah.
I see Will, the 10 free diamonds in 10 minutes. Here's the clickbait. Clickbait, as long as the clickbait is not lying, if what I'm saying is maybe not necessarily, it's not necessarily the way that you would perceive how I would get something or do something, as long as it's not blatantly lying. So like when I say 10 free diamonds in 10 minutes, well, technically by doing that set, you're getting the opportunity to get multiple free diamonds within 10 minutes. Now it's a sleazy, stupid way, but again, it's also it's a marketing job.
You
like,
changed that video
marketers.
title quick, dude. You did change that video title.
I did. I know, because I mean, at some point, people are just you can't. You have to be raw as possible. But I mean, yeah. No, clickbaiting is so much different. Here's honestly, and I'll be honest. When back when Madden Mobile was popping, clickbait was the difference between $20,000 a year or $60,000 a year, just in terms of just general income. So when it comes down to $40,000 of like not necessarily lying, because here's the thing: if I was a liar, I would not get continuous views. I would lose subscribers. Like
unless you're KB Legends. I don't know how KB Legends does it, but I guess if you fake giveaways every day.
Totally. Unless I'm like, hey guys, you can win 10,000 Madden cash if you like this video, and then like I do that for 6 months, and then never give anything away. But I honestly, if someone gets upset for like what they assume is clickbait, I don't try and battle that, because I'm like, listen, it's a marketing job. A lot of times people do appreciate the more real and authentic content, which I continue to try and make. But here's the thing: even going back to Overdrive, your question a few minutes ago, when the game is worse, the YouTubers technically have to do more to try and actually capture an audience. Like I could get 25,000 viewers a year ago by just opening up some packs and talking. Now I have to really try to get 6,000 people to even be remotely interested. So in terms of a business standpoint, it's like my business is at an all-time low because of this, the unfortunate consequences of this game. So it's like, now we have to step it up. I have to be more dramatic. I have to be more engaging. I have to be more too good to be true, just to keep a flat line of income. And that's not necessarily me trying to be, an unethical person. It's kind of just the way the business works.
Yeah. I mean, I know you. Like, I know we've talked on the phone. Like, I know you're an ethical person. I know you're a good human being. And I think a lot of people single it out. And that's the thing, like, sometimes when I look, that's the thing that always bugs me when I see like, and maybe it's different. Like, I think I've got a really positive community, and I think I work to do that. And I think I'm liberal with my mute button. If you're a jerk in my chats, I don't care. I'll ban you from my channel. I don't care. I don't want that. But one of the things that bugs me is like, I've seen it like with the bigger guys. Like when I think of like when I first got in the game, right? And I think of like, it was you, it was Jab, it was MMG before he went like huge on Fortnite. And, when I looked at you, like you guys had your loyal followings, but y'all had like toxic followings where like MMG's followers would come over and just go ham on you, and your followers would go ham on Jab. And I look at that and I'm like, man, I want no part of that. I don't want my followers doing that to anybody.
Oh, that was the good times.
I mean, but it was when I see that toxicity, I always wanted to avoid that. But, I've been a fan of yours, like, even though you know me, I'm not a pack opening guy. I don't like pack openings in general. It's just not my thing. But I've been watching your content, and I just think even like over the past year, when I look at your content, one, you've all, I'm not an entertaining guy. I'm like the educator, not the entertainer. Although apparently people find it entertaining when I rage sometimes. But when I look at you as a content creator, like I remember when I first started doing promo breakdowns, like, and people were like, man, CHF, and I noticed, dude, your promo breakdown game has stepped up so hard, where I look at your promo breakdowns, I'm like, damn, Slay put out some good promo breakdowns here. Like you did one where you even, like one of the things you did that I thought was so helpful was where you're like, look, you realize, like, just like I realize, I mean, we've got amazing international fans from around the globe, but we got, you know, the vast majority of our subscribers. I mean, it's an American football game, so most of our subscribers are in America. When you put out that video where you took everything, like, where it was already confusing because EA didn't give us a schedule, and props to EA with the, you know, with the, when they did the actual calendar for, what was that? Was it Thanksgiving or one of those where they put a calendar? I was like, man, it's freaking brilliant.
Yeah, it was Thanksgiving. Yeah.
But when you took the one and you were like, you not only took everything before EA gave a calendar, but you broke it down and gave it to everybody. Hey, if you're Eastern time, if you're Central time, if you're Pacific time, I'm like, man, there is Slay taking something there and innovating in a way that's super helpful to people. And I know that took, you know, that took more of your time to do that, but I'm like, man, that's the kind of stuff. And when I've been looking at your promo breakdowns, I'm like, man, I got to step up my game, or Slay's going to push me out of the promo breakdown side of this thing, and I'm going to have to just go back to play calling in a game that doesn't really require much play calling.
Totally, that comes from, you know, me looking at, like, okay, what is the most needed thing in this horrible game? And it's like, okay, understanding new promos. So I kind of put my effort towards, you know, what I feel like the fans are most expecting. Because as of now, like, pack openings aren't really that fun, because it's like, you know why pack openings were fun? Because pack openings were fun because you get to see your favorite person on YouTube open packs, and then you could go instantly to your phone and rip those exact same packs with the creator. Nowadays, you can go watch Noob Kill open up $10,000 in packs, but there's no way in hell that you have the money to open it up yourself. So that's why pack videos are non-exist now, because it's like,
hey, there's
a connection between the watcher.
Coin packs are garbage. Coin packs are garbage. I mean, even cash packs are garbage, but coin packs are really garbage this year. Like, the Pro Pack. Did you see where they said they were juicing the Pro Pack? And it's like, I was ripping on this, and people actually, you know, I think it was one of my funnier moments where I look at it, it's like, you know, the Pro Pack, they turned it into 1 gold, 2 silvers. And then they're like, hey, we're boosting Pro Packs. What did they do? 1 gold and 4 silvers. Really? Because this late in the game, in January, there are people out there that care about getting 2 more silver players. I don't know of anybody that still had silver players on their team after a week of playing the game. Like,
oh my god!
Like, I just don't know what they're thinking.
Oh, it's stupid. I want to talk about. I think I want to talk about kind of like why Overdrive failed, and I think it'll be interesting to talk about it.
Yeah,
I was thinking more recently. What happened was I think what happened is they initially, you know, they're coming up with the concept of the game, and let's be real. I think YouTubers, and we need to be very vocal starting now, because most likely our future is already being created now. And it's going to be released in August.
Absolutely.
But I'm thinking back to last year, and one of the primary things that people really did lobby for, and although it wasn't the top priority, people were like, we want like more graphics. We want to take another step up in terms of the quality of the game. Mm-hmm. And I think what happened is they decided to do that, but you'll quickly find out. Yeah, they literally decided to go, all right, sweet, we're going to go ahead and step up the quality of the game, which in terms of the quality, the graphics, the animations, everything was a plus. Everything took a major step up. And then what happens is they basically took their quality of graphics and say, okay, this is what we spent our money on. This is what's most important. So let's go ahead and make the biggest point of this game around that, which is Overdrive. And then guess what happened? The first month, what was the reaction? Everyone hated it. Mm-hmm. And then by the time you get to the first promo, no one is playing the game. So it's like...
And the first promo sucked. They didn't give us a good promo until Color Clash. That was the first promo they gave that anybody liked. But Kickoff, garbage. Garbage Kickoff. And in my opinion, Kickoff, like, that's before actual football season starts. So that's when you've got your hardcore people, the people who are here every year. That's where the first impressions of the game are. And if you can get those people excited and enjoying it, that's going to set the entire year off for success. So as much as we liked, we know, look, Most Feared has to be good. Ultimate Freeze has to be good. In my opinion, Kickoff needs to be one of the best promos of the year. I know, not in the sense of like giving you like the best possible players, but the structure of it, the enjoyment of it, the grindability of it, like the engagement with that very first promo sets the tone for the whole year. And that first promo left everybody like scratching their heads. It was like, it was confusing. It wasn't rewarding. It was pay to win already. And that's a fail.
And here's what this has, and I think this has to be a strong reality. People like what they're used to. And to be honest, the last 3 years, we've had the same template. We've had the sets. We've had the live event page that looked like North America. We had our leagues that, were very standard. And I think what happened is they took too much of what they kind of took too big of a step. I actually think that even though they're lacking in a lot of areas, it's because they took too big of a step and they're like, crap, we can't go back now, so we have to wait out this crap year until next year. Because I think what happened is everyone's like, yo, there's such a big change. And I think change, although change is imminent and change is how you definitely progress a game, change in such a drastic way is detrimental. Like if I go to a coffee shop and I'm always sitting in the same place, the same chair, doing some work, and then all of a sudden I come back in and like they completely change the chair, or they completely change like where the plug-in locations are. I'm like, oh shoot, like I gotta go like figure this out, or I gotta go to a different spot that I'm not as comfortable with. And I think they kind of missed the smooth transition from stepping up the quality, but then they lose the heart of the game. It's like you have to have someone hired at EA that is literally a content storyteller, where their job is to keep the story consistent throughout the changes of Madden Mobile, make it so that people who played in 15 can still relate and still be passionate about, bigger changes. And I just think that that's something that they lack this year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's the thing is change is good. Well, not all change. Change can be good, but you can't change everything all at once. It's not a situation where you just want to rip the Band-Aid off. It's one of those things where even though it hurts a little bit more, to slowly pull that Band-Aid off in a situation like this, slowly pull it off. Like, the mechanics and the physics and the things change. Like, we had the whole playbook change. Like me, as a gameplay guy, I was kind of excited. It's like, oh, Madden Mobile 17 and Madden Mobile 18 had the same playbooks. What can I do as a content creator who does play breakdowns when the playbook that I get this year, I already did a play breakdown on every single play that you're looking at the year before? Like, am I just going to make I made this video last year at this time, let me just remake it and try to reinvent it, where my longtime subscribers who are gameplay, people who like the gameplay, I already know Trips Corner Strike. I already know I already know motion cross. So I was excited to get a whole new playbook, but I think that was like a good thing. And I think that changing the playbook a little bit, but I think that some of the staple plays that people don't change the whole play. Like, don't take every single play that people like away. Take maybe some of the broken ones, like they took Trip Slot Attack away. Good motion cross, as much as I hate to admit it, and Trips Corner Strike, as much as I hate to admit it, they were completely broken plays. Completely broken plays. To the point where it was, it was unfair in the hands of somebody that knows what they're doing to have plays like that.
Totally.
So I like having new plays introduced as a content creator. Like, selfishly, I like having plays, but these guys are, hey guys, a couple guys are saying, quick slants is overpowered. The thing is, plays were overpowered, but now that defensive strategy is in, there's no such thing as an overpowered play. It can be overpowered against maybe the base default defense that EA puts you out in, but if I know that you're coming at me and that you're gonna try to abuse quick slants, like if you came at me and said, look, Mike, I'm only gonna use quick slants against you, guess what? I'll have you 4 and out every single time if you come into me saying you're only going to use quick slants against me. I can shut down quick slants. So I think the defense thing, to me, when I look at a failing game, because, I mean, let's be honest, it's a failing game this year. It's a failing game. Only the diehards are left. I mean, you just look at the quarterly report where they said basically FIFA Mobile has been a huge, boom for revenue. It's having a great year. KB Legends even switched over there so he can clickbait in a different game. So I'm kind of okay with that. But
oh my god,
FIFA Mobile was having a great year, but all of those games in FIFA Mobile, and they said this in their quarterly report to investors, were offset by decreased revenue in Madden Mobile. I look at that and I'm thinking, that's proof. Like, EA's not going to come out and tell people, we screwed up. Overdrive was a failure. We did the community wrong. They won't say that, but they don't have to. Their quarterly report said all that you need to know. And, me as a financial advisor, I look at stuff like that. Like, I read that stuff that, would put most people to sleep. But I look at that and I'm like, look, EA doesn't have to say it. It's the reality. But when I look at this failed game, defensive strategy, if that was there day one, that one little thing, if it was there on day one, if play spamming was not there day one, if they took the game where it is right now and it was there day one, it would have stopped not all of the bleeding because of all the reasons we talked about with Overdrive being the central focus and everything else. But if they had that from day one, I think, if we say we lost 1 million, or, let's say we lost 500,000 active players. I don't know, just throwing a random number out there. I think that would probably be closer to 250,000. We still would have lost them. But I don't think we would have lost as many if we had that defensive control from the get-go, if we had no play spamming from the get-go. And there's still a lot of stuff to fix. You don't see it, but man, as someone who's competitive, this league hopping nonsense and these hunt leagues, to me, it's an embarrassment that EA can't fix that. It's an embarrassment that EA can't fix that. And that they haven't prioritized fixing that.
And it makes me think, like, why? Like, why can't they fix it? Like, what is up with, like, and I think, I kind of relate us to the MUD community, where I see a lot of people complaining about things, but, even in the MUD community, eventually, Kralo will tweet at, like, hey, we're actually working on it, or they'll actually get an update or something will go on. But I think, I don't know, I honestly think that it's the upper management is kind of, whoever's in charge is kind of just, I don't know, not necessarily, they don't prioritize really, like, it's interesting. I don't really know what their priority is, to be honest. And I've played this game forever, and it's like, what do they obviously prioritize money, but then if you're not having a customer happy with it, playing the actual game, that's not going to lead to sales. So it's kind of like, it kind of has me at a loss. Like, what is their priority with their team? Like, I guess we've seen, them change a few things, but there's still so much that it's like, it's almost like they've given up and they're like, screw this. We haven't made our money. Let's just start throwing out a bunch of like high overall cards now and start getting our cash, popular players, and then let's just hope that next year it's not a screw up. What is your thoughts?
I mean, here's my thoughts. If you want my honest opinion, and Triple M just said something that has me smiling a little bit, and I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to get myself into legal trouble or anything. But here's my thoughts. Like, when I look at mobile gaming, right? When we look at traditional mobile gaming, not just Madden Mobile, right? But I look at Clash of Clans or League of Legends or any of these free-to-play mobile games. They all have things that go up to the $100 price point, right? They all do. And that's all well and good. But when I compare it from, say, something like Clash of Clans, which is what I'm playing a lot of now on the side, the value difference between something that you can get for $10 or $100, you can get something of similar value regardless of whether it's $10 or $100. You're just going to get a lot more of it at the $100 price point. But EA has made this game where the $50 bundles and the $20 bundles are worthless. You are not getting anything even remotely good unless you buy the $100 bundle. That's it. And I think that's where EA went wrong. Now, my thought is, at this point in the year, with so many casuals gone, the people that they've got right now that are hardcore are the whales. They've got the whales. So I look at it and I think, almost from a business standpoint, at this point, this game for this year is so far gone that the only thing left for EA to do is to milk the whales for as much as they possibly can every single promo, every single day from now until August when we get the next year's game. I think that's that from like as a business person, I look at it and think, yeah, with where the game is now, that's the best business decision, is to get as much money as possible out of this product for its 1 year shelf life as possible. And the way to do that is to just milk the whales who are going to stick around, and they're still going to drop $300, $400 every single promo for a marginal boost in their squad. There's people that are doing that. There's people who have, you know, who are making a couple $100,000 a year who, you know, this is what they're going to do. They're going to drop that. But
it's their hobby.
Yeah, it's their hobby. That's what they're going to do. In my opinion, if EA was smart, because I always thought about this and said, look, if you take Madden Mobile in its heyday, right? Its heyday, which is before I even started playing it, I hear. Like 15 and 16, I hear, was like the heyday. And when I look at your old video views, and I'm like, yeah, that was the heyday, especially from YouTube standpoint, which tells me there were a lot more human beings simply engaged with the game. I think in addition to EA next year making a game that when we first get our hands on it, not only as content creators, but as just the casual player, from the hardcore guys who are the hardcore whales that are dropping those thousands of dollars a year, all the way down to people who are free to play. But when they first get their hand on the game, not only do they have to say, wow, this is an awesome game, I think EA needs to completely change that revenue model. And instead of selling those big, valuable packs that you only get something of real value for $100, if you made a $25 bundle, like all of these times, like it seems the thing now this year is spend $100 to get a player. That's the thing. That's what it's evolved into, is you want this hot new player, it's $100, period.
Yeah.
Anything less than that, you know, you look at it, a $50 bundle or even a $20 bundle, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. But if they change it to the point where they kept that same thing and said, look, we got this hot new player coming out, we're going to keep having hot new players coming out every promo. If they drop that price point to $25, guess what? You're going to make a little bit less money from those whales. The whales are still going to buy all the packs. They're still going to buy all the everything to stay at the absolute top of the top from a progression standpoint. But all of those people who come back, the casuals, when they see this and say, wait, so all of those things that I used to have to spend $100 for, I only have to spend $25 for? That's a lot easier to stomach. That, you know what, I'm going to spend $25 this week on the game.
Totally.
And
totally. Everyone has a gift card or 15 or 20 bucks to like spend.
Yeah.
You know, people don't just have $100 just to cleanly drop, you know?
Some do, but the average person doesn't.
Yeah, most consumers, yeah.
I mean, you know, I look at it, the first year in the game, I'm just going to be honest, like last year I did a free-to-play experiment. My first year in the game, like I used to be one of those whales. My first year of Madden 17, when I was in, when I was in Kings of KMFO and we finished #1 in the world, I spent somewhere between $1,500 to $2,000 that year. I was one of the whales. I'm not anymore, and I never will be again. But I was the person they were targeting, and I get that, but you wouldn't lose the whales by dropping the price point. You'd cut back on how much you get from them, but I think you can counteract that. You know, right now you drop, you know, say 5 promos in a, 5 players in a promo, and they're $100 each, and those people get, those people pay $500, like the real whales that buy absolutely everything that EA puts out. Guess what? Okay, so you drop it from $100 down to $25, and there's 5 players in this promo. Well, guess what? Drop it to 25, and instead of putting out 5 players in a promo for Madden Cash, put out 10 different players. Guess what? Those whales that you're now getting only 25% of, well, guess what? They're going to buy twice as many because there's twice as many players. So now you're getting 50% from those whales, but now you're taking every casual out there who looks at it and says, man, this guy's my favorite player. I don't have $100. Man, this guy's my favorite player. It's only $25. I can get on that. And I'm not going to get all 10 of them like the whales are, but I'll get one of them. And that's going to take someone, I think that would broaden the base of paying customers. Because one thing, I stay away from the coin selling market, but, as a YouTuber, how many emails in your business emails address do you get from the coin selling sites. To this day, even when I was a Game Changer, I get those to this day all the time. And what coin selling tells me is that people are willing to spend a lot of money on this game. People are willing to spend a lot of money on this game. It's just shifted from people buying Madden Cash because of the crappy value to people who are like, yeah, I'll buy 1 million coins from this Chinese coin site for $1. Heck, I'll buy 25 million coins from them for $25 and go buy, 5 of the players that would have cost me $100 each. And I think if EA shuts down, like does a better job and truly shuts down that coin market. And I look at it like when I, Clash of Clans, I look at it now. They actually announced $1 million tournament this year. They're doing $1 million in prize money in their competitive league system that they added to the game this year. And they have taken a hardcore stance on fair play. Like I've heard that they go through, like, the guys who are in the top tier now, they went through these accounts and like went back through like 5 years, and they're banning people if you botted like 3 years ago. There's people who like were fair play for the past 3 years, but they botted to get ahead like 3 years ago, and they're getting permanently banned because they're trying to enforce fair play. And if EA did a good job of shutting down those the black market coin markets, and then to build on that, put out all of these things that they're selling for $100, for $25, I think not only would they be able to keep and get a good chunk of that revenue from the whales still, they'd take all those people who are buying coins because they realized, hey, I can only spend, I can spend $10 or $20 on a coin site and get stuff I want. Well, now, hey, I can get stuff I want for $20 of Madden Cash. I don't need to buy coins. Plus, I see everybody's getting banned buying coins. Now you're going to take all of those people who would have never bought Madden Cash because but they were willing to buy coins. You can convert those to Madden Cash buyers. You just have to make Madden Cash worth something.
Well, and even think about this. Like, the people who bought coins, like you say, is because they wanted to get the players, right?
Yep.
And I think EA has done, I think significantly much better at creating the opportunity for free to play. But here's why people don't play the game. Because they are going to have to come up with a creative way for people to grind, and it has to be more fun. Like, right now, to grind for a 96 overall player, free to play, you have to play the same live events 24/7, same thing, back and forth over and over. And people, back in the day would buy coins because, screw it, they want to just go buy. Everyone's in it for the cards. The cards is everything in this game. You want to get a better card. You want to get the stats. You want to be able to compete. And the cards are everything. So I think that they could have done a better job counteracting now when the coin selling went, to crap and all that kind of broke down. Of course, that made a few people leave. But I don't think coin selling would have been getting rid of coin selling would have been as bad if they made getting the Masters more fun, because the most fun thing back in the day was buying something on the auction house with your coins and adding it to your team. But nowadays, because you can't necessarily do that, you either have to go the Madden Cash route and spend real life money, which only 10% of the community is in for, whereas the other 90% is like, okay, well, I guess I'll stick around for this crappy promo. But I think EA needs to think next year, how can they make live events more creative? How can they make a grind more creative? Like, what is something that like they can take from other games, and that's in terms of like actually being able to achieve the players? Because everyone wants the players, but I think the path to getting the players is two ways. You pay Madden Cash because you can't do coins anymore, or you play a live event and rush through a Oklahoma drill 5,000 times. And people get annoyed.
Yeah, it's like, one sec, man. I just got to say goodnight to my little guy who's standing here. Buddy, I love you. You have a good night. Oh, thank you for stopping in. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody? And why don't you say hi to Slay? I know you can't see him because we're just doing audio chat, but Slay can hear you, and I'm talking to him here. Hang on,
What up, bro?
Hang on, I'm gonna turn this volume up real quick so you can hear Slay. He's a big fan of yours, Slay.
Yo, what's up?
Hey.
How's it going, bro?
Good.
You've been playing Quirk lately?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, bro.
All right, bro.
I can't wait to eventually hop back on and play with you.
He and mommy were just playing hide and seek in the commons. All right, bud. I love you. I'm gonna get back to this, okay? I love you. I'll see you in the morning.
Good night, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Like when I think of that, you know, like right now, like right here, I realized while we're talking, I'm gonna go ahead and do some mindless grinding here of this stupid Pro Bowl promo. But like when I think of this, right, like right here, I'm gonna go do this stupid live event here, and it's the same stupid grindable live events. And you know, I think from some degree, you know, they added a couple of new things. They added Minefield. They added some of these things. But when I look at it, it's like why, you know, like why is it that when we have a passing challenge, right, where it's like you have to pass the ball to 4 different receivers, right? Why do you have to do the exact same play? We have a playbook with like literally hundreds of plays in it, yet every single promo, every single time, it's the same. It's hitch. It's dude, randomize it. You got 100 different freaking plays in the game. How about if I play the same live event? Like if I go in here for the pass, and I have to pass to the primary receivers, right? Like I'm going to go in here, pass to the primary reasons. Why is it that if I do this live event once, maybe I get 1 play? The very next time I repeat the live event, why does it have to be this exact same play shakes? There are, you know, 50 different pass plays. Change it up. Make it so every single time you do a live event, make it a different passing play. That alone just makes it so you now have hundreds of different live events, and it would make playing these live events more fun and engaging, and it would actually help people learn the playbook. And hey, Steve-O, first off, man, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the dono, my man. Appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the cause, because this is still the charity stream. Thank you for that. I got to write that one down because the ticker does not keep track of super chats because they're kind of done outside of that. It only takes... it only tracks the Streamlabs ones, but I'm going to write that down and manually add it to the total so I keep an accurate total. But yeah, I mean, I agree. You know, make the live events more engaging. I think that one simple change, just changing it up so that instead of me doing the same exact play, if I grind a live event 50 different times, that I have to do that same play 50 different times, it's stupid. It's stupid, and it's such an easy change to do.
You know what just came to my mind while you're talking about live events? Last year, the one time that I actually was motivated and excited to play the live events, and I kind of was like trying to like really like actually put effort into it, was what was that promo where Marshawn Lynch was the master and the events were super hard? What was that called?
Conquerors?
The Conquerors. Listen, that promo in itself had its own issues, but I think it was the fact that they changed the way that you grind for a master that made it so interesting. I'm like, oh, whoa, like I'm actually having trouble here. I have to go get help from my friends. I have to go get a specific player that would be best for this play. Like it involved more than just like, you know, grinding, spamming live events. Now we're at the point where if people are grinding live events and they get the precision passing pass to 4 receivers, people are like, oh, F this. This is going to take 30 seconds longer than like an Oklahoma drill. And like people get upset about live events that are like longer because they're just trying to wastefully get through them just for the promo cards.
I mean, I get a kick out of that one because I mean, you know, for me as the gameplay guy, 2 of my top 5 videos ever, including my #1 video ever, was Conquerors. Like that is as annoying and frustrating and I mean, as a content creator, for me specifically, Conquerors was fantastic for me. It was painful, and I actually spent Madden cash having to do stamina refreshes because I wanted to do it, you know, at the time that Conquerors came out. I think it was like right when I became a game changer, so I couldn't go out there and do what you did and just give everybody the smart tip that just says, hey, if you're about to fail, force close it. So my stupid self, I had to go out there and actually do it legit, which was so annoying. And it's like, The reality is, if I wasn't a game changer, look, I'm a fair play advocate, but grinding a freaking live event, I don't care if you force close till your heart's content. But I couldn't say that. I can now since I'm not a game changer. But you know, that's something, you know, where the concept of it, I think, you know, I think that someone just said it. Chris Fall said it in the chat. The idea of Conquerors was great. The execution was awful. And I agree. But, you know, at the same time, I'm wondering, are we going to get Conquerors again? But, I mean, I just look at it. I think, you know, it's not that hard to make these live events more engaging. It really isn't. I mean, the fundamentals are there. I agree, Matt, man. I agree, Triple M. Live events are boring. I'm doing these because it's after 10:30, so I have to grind them because I plan on going until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, since that's when I started. So because of that, I have to do these because I'll forget. Because look, you got to sit through it. You'll have to. I'll tell you what. You won't have to at 10:30 when it resets tomorrow. I won't do it on stream. Okay, no more live events after this set. But I got to do these. So
okay, CHF.
Yeah.
What do you think if you could have like one or two things that were changed come next August when the new game drops? What would you like when you open it up? What would get you the most excited in terms of change? It doesn't have to be anything like crazy specific, but like, what are you looking for? It could be as simple as change it back to Madden Mobile, like in terms of the name. What would you say would be the biggest bonus or plus for you where you're like, oh my gosh, like we could have a shot at a good game this year?
You want to know, honestly, if it was just one thing, and there's a lot of different things, and this is going to, you know, especially since I'm now like a free-to-play lifer, this is going to be the shocking thing. I would like to see $25 bundles being the $100 bundles becoming $25. I would like to see Madden cash value. And the reason for that, the sole reason for that is what we talked about. At the end of the day, people want to get players. People want to get players. Whether it's a good game, whether it's a crappy game, whoever is playing the game, they want players. That's it. And if you make it so that people can reasonably get the players that they want at a reasonable price point, I think that alone would keep more people in the game. So if I see something that I say, you know what, you've got a price point on these things that are people, even if there's things that they don't like that much, they're going to be able to get the players that they want without dropping $300 or $400 every freaking month when a promo comes out. If it was something there where I could look at it and say, you know what, if a promo came out, whether it's Most Feared, whether it's Ultimate Freeze, if the casual player can come out and say, look, that guy is my hero. He was the best player for my team that I root for, and I can get him for $25. I think that alone, even if the game was crappy, which I hope it's not. I mean, there's a lot of things I want, but that would be, if I only could have one thing, even though it's something I wouldn't use, because I wouldn't even spend the $25 just because I've had it with doing that. If I saw that, I would know, you know what?
Yeah.
They're going to be able to keep a player base for a long time, and they're going to make enough money for this game that they're going to keep the development cycle going, and that they can keep it going all year and not get into a situation where the game has become, you know, a drag on revenue for the company. Because when you have a product, like where I think of like, you know, when I think of like just the business guy behind me, if you've got 6 products, right? You've got 6 different widgets that you sell. If one of those widgets nobody is buying, and it's one of those things where each year you revamp the widget and you make that widget a little bit better, you put the money in improving, like the most improvement is going to go to the widgets that sell. Even if you had a widget that if you put a ton of money and attention and focus, you could make that widget the greatest of all widgets that you have. If it's not making money now, it's not going to get the development money that it needs to become something as great as it could be. And I think that if they made Madden cash value, you know, as a competitive guy, part of me wants to say, you know, fix the hacking, fix the cheating, fix the league hopping. And I want all of those things, but as a content creator, as a fan of the game, as a football fan, pack value. If I only had one thing, that would be the one thing that I would want. That would be
honestly, I agree. But in that concept, which is so needed, it's so hard to see them, like what we've seen throughout the last few years, them, resorting to the community's health and needs rather than their financial gains. And I think one of the things, like if I was working at EA and I was their marketer, and again, my goal working for EA is to make them as much money as possible and steal the money from all of the children around the world. You know what I would do? I would say, hey, idiots, why don't we provide an incentive for those that actually spend cash? Why don't we provide an elite, a platinum level where once you actually spend cash, not only do you get rewarded with a promo pack for every freaking promo, but they also get their own event page for the platinum buyers where they get exclusive events, exclusive sets. Like if they actually, because this is my perspective, if EA doesn't change crap with Madden Cash, which is a probability, although I would much rather have your idea, but I would rather them actually value those who spend cash, even if someone spends $20 a year or maybe nothing. Like having some sort of like value on what you're buying Madden Cash for, I think would not only get people more engaged, but would kind of just provide a better like overall system for those that are buying cash. Because like I remember back, I think it was Madden 16, like they gave you like an ultimate freeze pack, a most feared exclusive pack for those that had like Madden Cash tiers. But I think, to be honest, EA just needs to freaking buy into those that are willing to pay money and really give them advantages with packs, advantages with exclusive events. Because what that's going to do is that's going to encourage other people, which I'm thinking from the mind of EA, to not only go out and buy, but it makes things a little bit more valuable. And of course, there's the aspect of where it's like those who are free to play and exclusively free to play. I think if EA does do that, then they have to also provide an avenue for someone who doesn't want to spend money to also enjoy the game. Because ideally, the goal is to convert those that don't spend money and claim to be free to play to end up buying this awesome player at an affordable price. Like that's their goal. So I think if they can keep the players through coin packs, through consistency with promos, through the ability to see valuable assets within the store, like if I can convince you that you can be a free-to-play player throughout the whole year and then drop an affordable, like you say, $25 master, if you have a gift card, screw free-to-play. Like, it's a fun game. You're enjoying it so far. People will spend money on the game.
For sure.
So I just think that it's super interesting.
Look at Roblox, look at Fortnite. You don't even get any kind of advantage in those, but people spend little bits of money because they want something, because they enjoy the game. You said something there that really kind of hit on a good note, and it popped into my head, almost kind of building off of what you said, Slay. So, as I mentioned, look, I play Clash of Clans, and at some point during this stream, maybe I'll do it at 3 in the morning. I have to do a couple of my war raids in Clash of Clans, so you guys will have to sit through that because it's something I have to do because I'm on a timer. But one of the things I liked about Clash of Clans, and I took like a 2-year break from the game and just played Madden. But one of the things that I found was really neat when I went back, right, because I played it for years. Everything that I spent money, because I spent a lot of money on Clash of Clans, guys, like embarrassing amount of money in that game. But when I went back, everything that I ever paid for, I still had. Now, part of that is a focus on the fact that the game doesn't reset every year like Madden does. However, what I think, just like you said, where, you get to a certain tier and you're getting new live events, you're getting new things, like if you look here at my account, I've got that nice little red badge, which tells you I'm not a free-to-play. I haven't always been a free-to-play player. I bought Madden Cash. But if they had something there where it's like, say you get the gold tier or the silver tier, whatever that tier is, that contribution badge, when a promo drops, not just this year, next year, the year after that, I'm not saying give those people an immediate thing where they instantly get a master, right? But when you get that badge up, that contribution badge up, every time a promo comes, you know what? Maybe you get one of the 500 Madden Cash packs just for free. Every single promo, you get that for the rest of your life. And when the game resets and kickoff promo comes out and they've got a new thing and they've got a new $20 bundle, well, guess what? You just get one of the $5 packs. Something like
they
that.
thank you. They're like, thank you for your contribution in last year's Madden Mobile. Here's something to kick you off.
Yeah, something like that. And if they did something like that and people realized, hey, if they did something like that, I'd almost be willing to say, you know what? Don't drop it from $100 to $25. Drop it from like $100 to $50. I still think they need to add new, you know, I need a better price point. But if they did something like that, that was like, look, you've loyally supported this game over the years. You've gradually built your tier up to the point where you've given a lot of money and contributed to us. We're going to get you to keep spending money by making more attractive offers for you. But we're going to reward that loyalty with just a small token where you get that. And if they did something like that, I think that would help people continue to keep spending money and raise that tier.
Imagine this. Imagine if you get to an elite badge, then you actually get like your own place in the store or your own place to buy discounted Madden Cash, discounted on sale packs. You get bonuses. You get almost because here's their thoughts. If you're willing to pay whatever, I think it's like probably $100 and $200 to get to that badge.
If you buy,
then we want to be able, to provide incentive for you to actually continue to buy. Yeah. So it's like because right now if I get a platinum contributor badge, I'm spending $500 plus, and then I'm still spending the premium price. But if they can give me a platinum discount and being like, hey, for all of our platinum members, 25% off all packs, like it's just they have to be thinking this way. Like they need to hire like a marketing guy or someone who's capable of understanding what other games have done successfully, the discounts or that kind of stuff. Because imagine the amount of success is if a YouTuber like you or me, we spend $25 or whatever, we get into a specific tier, and then we open up every single one of our videos with like, oh, sick, we have our contributor rewards. I'm so hyped that I'm a part of this tier. Look at this. Look how much of a boost we got to this. And even if we're not selling it, we're just hyped that we got, a gift for being a contributor to the game. And that is going to encourage other people to be like, oh, shoot, like, I'm trying to low-key, get this master before my friend. I'm trying to, really get these awesome masters. I would be willing to spend $10 every other week or $10 a month, and then eventually get to these kind of like contributor things like on Delta Airlines, like, Elite, Platinum, and you kind of get these incentives. I think that could be something that could be really interesting.
Man, that's a phenomenal idea, man. A phenomenal idea. Madden Jeff is throwing a challenge out to me. And I can't deny a challenge, so we'll keep chatting, and I'll just play in the background.
A stylus? Oh my god!
I don't think I have a stylus.
Dude. I used to do that on I have an iPad that I play Overdrive on, and I use a stylus when I play. It's really funny.
I'm trying to test things now, because I don't know if I actually have a stylus. Let me look through my pen thing and see if I have one or chat. I mean, the funny thing, look, I get it. Like, it's clear from, Bangate and things last year that, EA as a company is not a fan of you, right? I mean, and I get it. For a while, you were one of the biggest coin promoters out there. And that is something that, of course, they're heavily against. But one of the things that I think is an issue, this year, you've been on the up and up. I mean, you've been on the up and up. You haven't done any coin promotion. You really even, like, I don't even know if you've really highlighted any glitches. At least not very many. It's certainly not to the extent that it has been. But to me, like, when you and I are having this conversation, and I look at, look, you and I have pretty different audiences. There's some crossover. But when I see here that, like, my audience, because, I mean, I look at it, I'm like, man, I got I got some of the hardcore players in my audience. Like there's some dudes like when Tybron comes in here and when Steve-O comes, like these are some hardcore dudes who like are really into the game. And when I see you talking about these ideas and my community listening to your ideas and like, man, Slay is coming up with great, to me, look, I get it. Like when I look at something where like I'm a financial advisor, you know, if there's a financial advisor down the street, maybe maybe we're competing for the same clients and this dude straight up like steals 5 of my clients and is beating me on all of these things, like I'd be kind of mad at him, right? Like just naturally. But if he came up with a good idea and I thought about it, I said, man, what he's saying is really good for my business. And maybe, just maybe, you know, I just got a capital infusion because somebody decided to invest in my business. Maybe I need to go over here. And even though I don't like this guy, what he's saying is good for me. I need to put that behind me and realize that, you know what? We could work together in a way that benefits more people. And that's something that I think that EA is not good at. I think that's something that EA is not good at because I get why they don't like you. I get that. And I'll be honest, they are justified to not like you based on what you used to do. However, you've been clean a year almost from things that they don't like, and you are in touch with this community. And I mean, I hate to say this, and I'm not like bragging on even myself because I'm a humble guy, but I would honestly say that you and me both are far more in touch with this community than the game developer is. And to me, that's a freaking problem. That's a problem that we who are not making the game, we just have a love for the game, that we know the community and that we know the community better than you guys do, and your entire revenue model is based on the community. If my entire revenue is based on a certain group of people that I have to know in order to maximize my revenue, there is nobody on this planet who will know that group of people better than me. That's who I am. I will make sure of that. I will learn everything I need to know because my success is based on my ability to appeal to this group of people. And I feel like EA just ignores that. I feel like there's some people there who just come up with these things like Overdrive or whatever it is, and they just go with stuff and don't think through, you know what? Maybe I don't like Slay, but Slay knows a lot of the people in the community. Maybe I should put aside my differences and get some input from him. I don't necessarily have to act on it. But I think not engaging with people who are really in touch with the community is a huge missed opportunity. I don't have a stylist, man. I don't have a stylist, Jeff. Unfortunately, I don't have a stylist. I don't use a stylist for anything. So I don't have one to accept the challenge. I would accept the challenge if there was something I could use. What about like a 1-finger challenge if I use it like a stylus and basically keep my fingers straight and just use 1 finger? Would that work for you on the challenge front while we're keeping this great discussion going? When I get a challenge,
play with your pinky.
Play with a pinky.
Play with your pinky.
Oh, Patriot, what does the red badge mean? It means I used to buy a lot of Madden cash in Madden Mobile 17. That's what it means. Is at one point I spent a lot of money on this game. Use my hand to move my finger. Man, I don't even know what that means. Use my hand to what? Grab, you play with my left hand and yeah, pinky only. I'll do a pinky only. What do you want me to do? Play the Overdrive game mode with just my pinky while we're chatting? I can do that. I think I can focus on that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's something that they should do is put the differences aside, because you know, the ideas what you're saying that you're saying are something that me, even though, you know, there was a time where we were like on opposite sides of, I mean, I agree with you 100% on these things, man. And I mean, I'm looking at it even from a standpoint of like EA, like the things that you're suggesting here. If EA listened to that, to those ideas, not only would people like the game more and be more engaged with the game, EA would make more money. You're literally giving EA ideas that could make them more money, and they won't listen to them.
Totally, and that's how you have to approach them. I mean, you have to feed the beast with like what they want. But I mean, there's ways for them to make money successfully without the community dying and suffocating, more and more each year. It's like, who are these idiots that you have hired? And I'm sorry to say, but like, you have to, like, at some point, you have to realize that mobile games are, and in-app purchases and transactions are some of the biggest things ever in mobile gaming and gaming in general. Most games, like Fortnite Mobile, keeps up with regular Fortnite in terms of sales because the mobile industry is so big, especially with an iOS launch. And it's like, you just have to realize that you can create a great game and still make profit. You just kind of, I just think that they're kind of blind to what I think other people think. And I think they're very much focused, and I don't know if you had experience with this, but like very much focused on only who they trust, which could be like their game changers, and only, what they see as like profitable. And, maybe they look at things in a weird way, statistically. Like maybe they see that like the Ultimate Freeze promo in Most Feared makes them the most money. So they, work the most to try and like revamp, what they did this year with the Christmas promo, like making it super like trendy and like, the map was like scroll across, very unique, and like something like that was super out of the blue. They spent so much time on that, but then it's like, okay, great, now that's over, and you have a month of crap and glitches that like nothing is going on. Whereas you could have people that are still engaged in the game from day one. You could have people that enjoy the kickoff promo, like you said, the people that enjoy the freaking live event hub that you forget to update. Like, what is it with the lack of? And I saw someone comment in the comment like, it's lazy.
It is lazy.
It's like, it's a way for them just to kind of like, I think they're kind of just shooting for the most income, but I think they could shoot for higher income in a different way that engages, that it is higher retention in terms of playing. Like it's super interesting.
I totally agree. Like, yeah, Triple Three threw it out there. I don't know how I'm multitasking through a conversation, reading the comment, and playing with my freaking pinky and still winning.
Wait, TMS says it sounds like I'm eating something, which I'm not.
No, it's just guys. So Slay, I don't think Slay is on his normal device. I think he's probably like on a phone or something like that. Slay.
Yeah, I'm on a phone.
Slay has a really good quality mic. He's got the same mic that I do, but he's not using it right now for this. So it's just you're not gonna.
I wish I was eating.
You're not gonna use the same You're not gonna get the same quality audio when you're on a phone versus a good mic. All right, I lost, but I did your challenge, man. I did your challenge. And that was painful. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the funny thing, like, is, when I look at things like, and granted, a couple of people, like, obviously MMG was not liked by EA either. But of course, he's done with Madden Mobile. He's, moved on to Fortnite. He's moved on to Madden console for the most part. But I think EA ignoring the ideas of the influencer just because they don't like who it comes from, that to me is something that is, and I see it more like, I see it more than just in EA. I see it in like society as a whole, where people,
let's be real,
reject an idea because of who it's coming from, regardless of the merits of the idea. And even if you don't like someone, if they have a good idea, it's a good idea, whether it came from somebody you don't like or not. It's a good idea. And to almost have like a protest to go against a good idea just because it came from someone that you may not like or you may disagree with on most things is just stupid. It's just stupid.
And you know what? And those people, in today's society, the working mobile gaming society, those people won't last. And I would give them, next year or another year until they're removed from their position. Because ultimately, I've talked to the head global community manager of FIFA, NBA. His name is Corey, I'm pretty sure. And I told him my stance back in the day when I was coin selling, and kind of told him, and he was not only like open ears, he was listening. He was like, hey man, I realize you're coin selling. We would love to potentially see a way for you to continue to play our games and have a successful channel without doing that. There are professionals that are hired, that are at the top, that understand exactly what you just said. And I think the people that are in charge of the gaming community, if they can't get past their own personal issues of, oh, this person ruined the game when I was a game community manager, and oh, now I'm bringing in Hey Steve Dave, who was a crowd favorite and a favorite of everyone, and I'm going to tell everything to Hey Steve Dave and make sure that Hey Steve Dave can't have an opinion and has to make sure that everyone in the community, that he blindsides and blacklists everyone else that he initially didn't. That's not a healthy way of leading. The leadership is childish, and ultimately it's gonna end. Those people will not be working there in a year or 2 years, and maybe they get quote unquote promoted to a new position. But I think these games are so big and there's so much money on the line that they have to really look into like who is in charge of the community, who is speaking, who has a voice. And I think they are watching. I don't think they acknowledge it, but I think they are aware. I mean, it feels like that they only listen to like the 6-year-old. Remember when like Lily TV became a game changer and she had like 40 subs and like they were like listening to all of her requests. But then you have like MMG and myself that have like hundreds of thousands, millions of monthly viewers, and we're like saying these things and they're like, oh no, screw that. I think at some point they have to realize what people want and vocalizing, what needs to go on. I think they're well aware, and I wouldn't be surprised if the people that can't get over that and can't learn and can't release a grudge in a business format, they're not going to have their jobs next year.
It's funny that I didn't know that. I know we've talked about a bunch of different stuff. I didn't know that you had a conversation with like one of the higher ups at FIFA. I find that funny because look, I'm not a soccer fan. I'm a football fan through and through. American football is my thing. But I touched on it earlier when I was talking about EA's quarterly report. FIFA Mobile is a top performing product. And you said that when you talked to kind of the leadership of FIFA that you found them to be flexible, understanding, and listening to you. I almost think, maybe it's a coincidence, but
it's kind of laughable.
Maybe it's correlated. The people that actually kind of thought through that are in charge of that product are now running the profitable product that's growing revenue faster than expected, as opposed to the one that is falling drastically short of expectations of revenue, which are the people that that you describe. I think I don't know. Look, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's whatever. But
there's a lack of creativity. Imagine this. Imagine logging in to Madden Overdrive today, and there is a precision passing event that we all watch in the skills showdown, and it's plain fun. There's like targets went across the field, and you have to like swipe to throw, or you have to run through a gauntlet, and it's like this crazy cool thing. There are so many things that they could do to make people want to hop on their phone, log in, and check it out and play. It's just like they're being held back from something, which I think we've had, we have speculation stuff, but at some point, they have to realize that why is the NFL community and NFL TV and watchers and viewers going up while the game is going down?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think as a gameplay guy, I think the graphics, the broader playbook, the defensive strategy, that gets me excited. And I think there's a big group of people that gets excited, but I think you hit on it. Like, when I still look and I see, when I look at EA's, when EA Madden Mobile makes a Twitter post, sometimes just for humor, I'll click on it and I'll read the comments, and I see like 20 people asking for season mode. We got season battle, right? Which it's not the same thing. And when I look at it, season battle from a reward standpoint is so far superior to any season mode. But at the end of the day, what I realize when I read that comment post, as baffling as it is to me, how anybody, and I talked about this earlier in my stream, I don't even think you were here, but we were talking about season mode, and some dude told me he did 37 seasons of Madden last year. 37 seasons. And I look at it and say, you could pay me, you could come to me and say, Mike, I'll give you $1,000 to go play 37 seasons. I'd tell you, no thanks. Keep your grand, man. I don't want it. Because the idea of playing 37 seasons of me, I would literally rather bang my head against a wall 10 times because it would only hurt for a little bit. And if I was playing 37 seasons of season mode,
oh my God.
that would hurt me far more than banging my head against the wall a few times. But since there's that many people, oh, you think it's all the same guy? Maybe it is. Maybe it's a bot even. But, you know, would it have killed them to just give regular season mode? Would it have been all that hard to give regular season mode than to change it? Not really. And guess what? Season battle, nobody, like the people who don't like season mode, like myself, I don't care that the rewards are better in season battle. I'm still not going to play that. So by you making the rewards in that better, but changing the structure and format so that it's not a traditional football season that a football fan may like. Because I was even talking to somebody in my comments who's like, you know, they watched like this late in the year, they watched my video on season battle where I showed you could just blitz the A gap every single time and sack the quarterback every single time. They're like, well, that's not fun to play defense that way. I'm looking at it like, man, it's not fun to play defense no matter what you do. But to that person, they clearly like playing that, you know, what I find to be immensely boring. They enjoy that. So what's, you know, but, you know, with the whole change in structure, it's kind of like the change of Overdrive. When I look at the season battle, it's like, yeah, it's a change, but why? What was the purpose? Why did you change all of this stuff to something that nobody from the community suggested, nobody from the community asked for? It's like you just pull this idea out of a hat and say, yeah, we're going to change one of the staples of this game, even though it's a staple that I could care less about. You could complete, and for me personally, not only get rid of season mode, get rid of season battle, get rid of the entire defense against an AI in this game, I wouldn't care. But there's people who would. And to change it to that person who enjoys season mode, it's almost like what the Overdrive change to us was to them. It's like you're changing something that wasn't really that broken to something that's so different that it's going to turn people off. I just don't see the risk reward in taking those types of drastic changes as opposed to doing something like update the graphics engine, keep the rest of the game exactly how it is last year, and put Overdrive in as this extra brand new way of playing the game. And if they like it, then you simply, maybe for Madden Mobile 20, if you realize, hey, we look at the analytics, we've got 5 times the people playing the Overdrive game mode than playing traditional head-to-head. Maybe in Madden 20, that's when you get rid of traditional head-to-head, because the people have spoken. Yet if they did that, and they put it in as just an extra game mode, and 5 times as many people are playing traditional head-to-head than the Overdrive game mode, then maybe the Overdrive game mode just shows up as a random special event, live event in Madden 2020. Why? Yeah. Why would, why take such an immense change and throw that out there to something that was a profitable and still, like even last year, it was still a pretty successful product for EA. It was, and I just look at it and I look and I'm like, man, I built up a channel from this, and I've seen other people, like I look at Ducky. Man, I'm so proud of Ducky, what he's done in switching to Fortnite and getting away from this. And I look at that and I'm like, man, maybe I should change to another game. But I look at it and I'm like, man, but all of my subscribers are here for Madden Mobile. So I almost feel like an obligation there where I have to stick with this game, even though by and large as a whole, I'm not a fan of this game. Like the Overdrive, was fun for a week or two. That was it. After that, now it's funny because I look at the tournaments, right? And I talked about how we want tournaments back. How I said that we want tournaments back. Well, we get these tournaments back, and I look at the events, and the reality is, look, in these Blitz tournaments, if you play them all the way through and you get all the tiers on them, I think it's what, like 2.5 weeks before you can get a free diamond. That's pretty darn grindable. And those were like top of the line players when they dropped. And even now when we have like 96s, they're 94s. That's a darn good reward for the effort that you put in. But because it's the Overdrive game mode, you can look at it here. I don't even do the tournaments. And I wanted the tournaments, and the rewards for the tournaments are good. So that tells me, like, and I'm sure there's some people out there who like the Overdrive game mode, but I think the community as a whole is by and large spoken. They don't like Overdrive.
Here's my theory that could be a reality, which I would hate. But it's like almost like, what if they're moving the community of Madden Mobile and they want everyone to migrate to console, and they want to use mobile to be more of like an exclusive one-off, like fun mini game. And that's kind of like what we kind of been seeing, because when they came out with the commercial for Madden Overdrive, like the promo, like we were all like, whoa, like this is cool, like graphics. They're like, wait a second,
with
like,
AB and TO playing it. You
yes.
remember at the beginning of the year that commercial, like it was in there. Like,
oh yes,
yeah.
I just saw it at the Pro Bowl, and they're playing it. They're like, whoa, it's so fun. And they're like, you guys are filthy animals, you liars. I'm gonna react to that trailer.
Well, no, the funny thing is, I think if you took it and gave it to them and just said, hey, here's a brand new game and it's on a phone, and they're not people who actually play the game, I could see, like, I mean, in fact, let me be careful how I say that. No, I'll just modify the story a little bit, but keep the important part. So when Overdrive first came out, right? I got a good friend, my best friend here. He doesn't play. He doesn't my best friend in real life. Okay, he doesn't play this, but when I put the game in his hands for the first time and I said, hey, check this game out, and he played the Overdrive game mode, he's like, hey, this is pretty cool. He liked it. But I bet if he would have started playing it and played it for a couple of weeks, the reality is it's so repetitive that it stops being fun. It loses its novelty really quickly, and it just becomes a chore to play. So for me, the only thing that keeps me playing is League versus League. That's the only game mode that I truly engage with in this game. Because to me, and I know we're on different ends of it, there's a lot of people out there who don't care about League versus League at all. But I would think, again, I have no inside knowledge of this, nothing game changer, so no NDA issues here. Triple M, I know you keep wanting me to break the NDA. I'm not going to do it. But I would look at it and say that if you were to identify a commonality between a group of players, I would think that players who are in leagues ranked in the top 1,000, not just the top 100, but the top 1,000 leagues, if I had to bet on it, I would say if on average, if you were to take like average spending over the course of the entire year and compare, say, the players that are in the top 1,000 to, say, the players that are in the top 1,001 to 5,000 to 5,000 to 10,000, I would think that the single largest profitable group of players are players in the top 1,000 leagues in the game, which to me, if that is true, which I would be willing to bet that is true. I have no knowledge, absolutely no knowledge.
I agree.
I would bet that is the single largest money-making demographic in the entire game. And if that is true, and I was able to access analytics that confirm that, which I can't do that, but someone at EA could take my hypothesis that that's the most profitable group of players. To me, the only thing that you can take away from that is that League versus League is very profitable for our organization, and that we need to focus on making that group of people happy. And this year,
I agree. League versus League.
I'm sorry for the bad language. Sorry for kids. I normally keep it clean. EA shit on League versus League this year. Period. They shit on League versus League. They did. It was a joke from day one. It was a joke from day one with the no defensive game plans. That was a step forward. But not telling people that power impacted League versus League, that was a problem. Not having defensive strategy from day one, that was a problem. League hopping. I know there's a group of people who... Look, the only group of people who are going to disagree with me on this are people who hop, period. I cannot see any reason why anybody who doesn't hop can't see the blatant, obvious truth about league hopping, that it is bad for competitive League versus League. It is bad for competitive League versus League as a whole, period. And that's not even an opinion. That's a fact. You can deny it, but you're wrong. But for EA to not stop that, along with all of the other things they've done to ignore League versus League this year, to me, as a financial advisor, what that would be doing, if I were to equate that to my business, right? Like, I've got some clients, like my biggest clients that, you know, I got $1 million years that I manage. You're one of my more profitable clients. And then I've got a kid who's 27 who's got some credit card debt that I'm helping him get out of, and he's paying my minimum fee. That would be like me getting an email at the exact same time from both of those clients and answering the smaller client first. I'm going to answer that client, and they're absolutely important. But if I get an email at the exact same time from two clients, I'm going to answer them both, and I'm going to answer them both the same day. They're both going to get very quick responses. But the people that my business's success is based on, even if you're getting your email 15 minutes before the other guy, they're getting it before that. And to ignore the most profitable group by ignoring the game mode that engages that group the most, I just can't fathom how that happens. As a business person, I can't fathom how that happens. And I'll be transparent. I only own one share of Electronic Arts. I used to own a lot of shares of Electronic Arts, but I sold all of my EA shares except one for last year. So if I ever want to go to one of their quarterly meetings, to one of their annual meetings, I can. But I only own one share of EA now. And one of the reasons for that, and I know that this is a smaller game, right? I know this is a smaller game, and that EA's, as a broad, diversified gaming company, has so much more. But when I look at that simple decision to just ignore League versus League, when all logic states that is basically your A-list clients, if I were to compare it to my business, that one decision alone, I look at it and say, as I envision my company in the future, when I have other advisors under me and all this, if I had one of my advisors doing that, and I let that advisor stay without correcting that behavior, that tells me that I'm not a good decision maker. So by the fact that I saw that was something that was allowed to happen, that League versus League, even in this small game, and when I compare that to the whole Battlefront fiasco and all of the other big public things that I look at, that, to me, and this is not even talking about just the Madden Mobile team, to me, that tells me that there is a problem systemically within leadership at Electronic Arts. Maybe I'm wrong, but that is what I take away as it. And as someone who's given the choice between concentration by investing in a single company as opposed to broadly diversification, like investing in the entire group of companies, like the 500 index or something like that, I'm not willing to bet that extra risk by betting on a single company when I see that company making decisions like that. And that's a true story. I sold my EA shares last year based on a combination of things, but one of those factors, and look, I mean, granted, I don't recommend individual stocks for clients. I'm a diversifier. I do broad market diversification in my business, but I like to buy the occasional stock for myself if it's a company that I like. I stopped liking EA when I saw a combination of how Battlefront went down, when I saw League versus League crapped on this year. And yeah, I mean, I look at that, and that to me is a big problem that has me worried about not just like Madden Mobile leadership, but whoever's above that, whoever's above that allows something like that to happen. Because to me, it's just so obvious that League versus League from a revenue standpoint is important to the game. And, when did we get defensive strategy? December? We got defensive strategies, so there was literally nothing that competitive players could do. We could run the ball every single play and put up 24. I mean, I had guys in my league that were on like 50-day streaks where they didn't drop a single point in League versus League. 50 days where they don't even drop a 2-point conversion. And that's the competitive game mode. To me, that's a problem. I think we lost Slay.
No, I'm here.
You're here? I heard a weird sound on here. Maybe it's just mine. Who's messaging me? Because I have desktop audio on.
Someone left the voice channel that was listening. That's why.
Ah, I got it. I got to turn those notifications. I'll just ignore it. Sorry, I get thrown off when I hear random weird noises like that. That's just my thought. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a big fan of the League versus League game mode. But I think my logic is sound on it. That, I mean, especially when I look at the leaderboard and I look at just the top 100. Forget the top 1,000. Just look at the top 100. Look at their teams. Yeah, there's some Tybrons. There's some like guys who are just ridiculous free-to-play grinders. But I'll tell you what, man. You look at something like KOB, there's some dudes in that league that legit drop thousands of dollars every single year. And if that's just a small sample, like just the top 100, sometimes we'll match up with a league that's like 500, and I'll see teams there that are just as stacked as a team in the top 100. And yeah. I talk to people where they're like, hey, we're in a top 500 league. We want to try to be a top 200 league. And, I think that EA ignoring that game mode, because when I think of like any game, right? Like even if I expand beyond Madden Mobile, like let's look at Fortnite, right? Look at Fortnite. Sure, you've got these guys who are great solo players, but when you look at like Ducky, he joins Obey Alliance not too long ago, right? Well, what is that? That's a community. At that point, when you're joining with like-minded gamers who engage in the same thing and like that, the community element of the game is what takes it through. Where maybe even in Fortnite, maybe they put away, they shelf a weapon or something like that, and people don't like it, or they make some change in Fortnite. Because I've seen Ducky on Twitter. They make some changes where he's like, hey, this is a crappy change. But I'll tell you what, the community, when you've got a community of people who are engaged in it together, that's what creates stickiness to the game.
The difference between Fortnite is that Fortnite gives you full access to the entire game, and then in order to the way they make money is through like customization.
Yeah.
And because you love the game so much, you're willing to spend money to make your character look awesome in the game. You're willing to spend money on how you look when you play, how you look when you break, how you look when you jump out of a bus. Like, the game there is perfectly made. You love the game. Imagine if Overdrive or Madden Mobile, the game was so well made, so well curated, that I wanted to spend money to unlock a crazy awesome jersey, or a crazy awesome stadium, or unlock a League versus League feature that allows my league to go, start grinding. Like, and I agree completely. Like, League versus League is so crucial because you're right. The people that spend the most money are in there. Imagine if they came out with League versus League specific promos where actually as a league have to work together to achieve specific players. Or what if like your league won 50 games in a row, then you get a specific master. Like, that's when leagues were the best, when the leagues actually had to work together and had to consistently rely upon people to grind within the league, to work hard, to trade, to do specific items. That's when the game was at the best. And to be honest, you're completely right. The profit is there. The people that are in the leagues that are in the top 100, they're spending the most money because not only do they care, they can afford it, and just like it's their favorite game in the world, and they're great at it, which is why they're spending the money. Like, if you find something you love, if you're an avid bungee jumper, you're going to put aside thousands of dollars a year to go try and bungee jump off the best places that get the biggest thrill. People are hardcore Madden fans, and most of the people in the top 100 are lawyers for Microsoft. They will spend that money.
I mean, that was one of the things that I thought of, is even league seasons, right? Like right now, League versus League is the most engaging and community focused. I mean, there's no question, from a community focus, when you have like a group of people that are not only engaged in the game, because the game, like when I look at the game, like why I'm even still playing, if I didn't have my league, I wouldn't be playing this game. And that's just, and I realized that a while ago. That my league was so critical to my ability to play this game that if I did not have my league, I could not keep playing this game. That's a point that I hit to. And in probably another 22 months, I will talk more about that, Triple M, if you're still here. I will talk more about that topic in about 22 months. But at the end of the day, I came to a realization that my league was the only thing that keeps me playing this game, because there's so much about the game that I don't like. And to this day, that holds true, which just further, and maybe it's just confirmation bias about my whole thoughts on League versus League, but it reinforces the whole community element of what's there. And one of the things that I think would be cool is, we got this leaderboard, and let's be honest, the leaderboard with the hopping, the leaderboard's a joke. I mean, the #1 league right here, She Loves the D. Let me tell you something. There is definitive proof from the last League versus League game of Madden Mobile 18. That league right there was calling plays in League versus League that did not exist in Madden Mobile 18. They were calling plays from Madden Mobile 16 that were still lingering in the code, but were not selectable on the screen. It was impossible to use that. It was definitive hacking of the game. Yet here we are.
Wait, was that recent? Was that recently?
That was the very last game of the very last League versus League game of Madden Mobile 18. There is video proof. They held off on their cheating all year long. People were accusing them of cheating, but they tried to skate under the leaderboard, skate under it and create doubt and be like, oh, you can't prove it. And then on the last day of the game, it was like a big screw you to everybody and said, you bet your ass we are cheating. We're going to go in and use plays that you cannot even call in this game. It was the most blatant, obvious cheating, but they were like, it's the last day of the season. They can't do anything about it. And then right when their season resets, the guy here, I'm going to hop in here, and I'm just going to tell you, look, as a gameplay guy, people send me things where they see somebody put up 1,000,000 points in Overdrive. I did a video on this. This guy right here, the commissioner of this league. Now, part of me thinks maybe he was banned because his team is still in 81-85. Maybe he's banned. Maybe they got him because I saw a screenshot of this guy putting up like 100,000 points in the Overdrive game mode. But guess
I
what?
saw that.
His whole damn league. This is a league of cheaters, and they are #1 on the leaderboard. They have not been reset. They have not all been banned. They are on the top of the leaderboard with more wins than any other league, and it is a slap in the face of all fair play that they are right there at the top of the leaderboard.
No cheaters.
I mean, no joke. There is video evidence on the last day of the year that they were calling plays like quarterback sneak. Quarterback sneak hasn't been in the game since Madden Mobile 16, yet they called it, and there's evidence of them calling it in Madden Mobile. Nate, I don't believe it, man. You're saying they stayed away from cheating. I think they're just better at hiding it. And I think that on the final day of Madden Overdrive, they're going to do something blatantly obvious, just like they did last year. They're going to call a bunch of stuff that's not even in the game, or something crazy. Like they'll come out and they'll, fake field goal pass, We all see fake field goal pass. It was removed from the game, right? They haven't lost 5 games in the last month because they only have 2 losses on the year, Nate, first off. They are 169-2. It's right there on the screen. But I can see them on the last day of the year this year, the entire league going out there and using fake field goal pass for one-play touchdowns every single time. I can see that happening. And if I'm not really a betting man, but I'd probably bet like 20, 30 bucks that they do something on the last day of the year that is just a big screw you to everybody. Like, yeah, we're cheating and we got away with it all year and we're still here. I think that's what we're going to see. They won't be obvious about it until the very last day, and then they're going to do something so obvious that it's just like a slap in the face to everybody. It's exactly what they did last year, and there's no reason for me to think that they won't do that again. My opinion, we'll see on the last day of this game, whoever's still playing, but that's my opinion on what we're going to see from SLTD. I think on the last day of the year, they're going to make that cheating so blatantly obvious, and that's just going to be confirmation. Look, it's easy to hide it. It's easy to hide the cheating because you can't see it, and that's why one of the things that I would love to see next year, since they made this transition to gameplay focused and live player versus player, is I'd like to see, even if they keep the premise of Overdrive game mode where you have these 3-minute quick drill things, maybe you have, say I'm playing Slay, right? Me versus Slay. We match up in a game of next year's, whatever it is. I'd like to see, you know what? A random coin is flipped. Slay goes first. Slay gets a minute and a half to play offense against me to put up as many points. I don't care if it's fantasy scoring. I don't care if it's traditional scoring, whatever. He gets a minute and a half. And while he's playing user offense, I am playing user defense. And then when his minute and a half is over, it flips. I do a minute and a half of live offense while he does a minute and a half of live defense. And to me, that would help the integrity of the game so much, because guess what? If I'm playing against Slay and all of a sudden my entire defense is not on the field, so I have nobody who I can even control, guess what? I know this guy's a cheater. I can hit the record button, I can send it to a game changer, and dude can get banned right away. Because when you can see the actual film, not just the play selection, but when you can see what they're actually doing, that would almost immediately get rid of the hacking. And I think that would make a damn engaging game, where you get to pick your own defensive play. And does EA have the technology to do that? I don't know, ML. Technology advances pretty quick, though. I mean, I compare that to something like, or even if it's watching something, or they just kick it up to a notch where you can watch the film. So when you finish a game, you can look and see theirs. Because I look at a game like Clash of Clans, right? It has many more players than they do. But when somebody is attacking my base, and I get a notification, hey, your base is being attacked. If I click on that and watch, I can watch what they're doing live and see them playing. I can see them playing in real time. Why can't EA find a way where, look, if I'm playing a game of Overdrive and I think somebody did something suspicious, or if I'm playing a game of League versus League and someone did drives on me and I want to see how my defense performed, I want to look at their drive. And even if I don't get live offensive versus defense, why can't I see a replay of what they actually did? So if they rip out a huge halfback blast, and my suspicion is that they're using a hack utility to put it on rookie mode, or a hack utility to take my defense completely off the field so there's no defender even possible. If I could do that and I could watch the replay, think of how easy that would be just from self-policing and reporting to completely eliminate actual cheating from the game. If you can't give me live defense, give me the ability of being able to watch drives so that you can do that. Something there, but I feel like that's not that complicated of technology to do. It can't be. I'm sure it's an investment, I'm sure. And that's the thing that troubles me about this year with revenue going down. That's what troubles me is with revenue going down and them seeing, oh man, FIFA is a much more profitable program. Who do you think's going to get the development money to make a better game in 2020 this year? Do you think that EA is going to make a decision? You know what? We got $100 million to put into these two games. Are we going to put $50 million in both of them, or are we going to put $70 million in FIFA and $30 million into Madden Mobile? It's just basic business. They're going to put the money into the more profitable game. And that's what troubles me about this year sucking so bad is Madden Mobile 2020, if they do it right, they're going to do fantastic. And they could make this a good game. But my fear is that with revenue not even meeting expectations and projections for this year, it's not going to get the development money that it needs to make next year a good game. And if that happens multiple years and you're not putting in the investment that it takes to make a product quality that people are going to want, you know, your product's just going to continue to decline year after year until you give it the attention it needs to be great. But I mean, you look at the market, there's a lot of interest in American football. You know, there was a time when it was hard for the NFL, but NFL viewership is up. And
especially with London, bro. Like,
yeah,
they're doing all these games in
4
London
games in
and
London
Europe
this year. A game in Mexico. Like, the NFL's going international. And I mean, I look at it, I've got international people in my league. I've got international fans in my comments. Like, you know, I get that soccer is probably has a larger fan base as a whole, and that should definitely play into it, and it makes sense. But when you see that the NFL is thriving and viewership is going up, TMS,
keep in mind,
I'm hoping EA does nothing for the AAF and someone else does something for the AAF, and that the AAF does not give its license to a single company and take away competition. Because I think back, look, I'm old. I'm 36 years old. I played Madden console every single year from 1993 to 2012. Every single year, almost 20 years of Madden that I looked forward to it, man. When the new Madden came out, I was going and buying it every single freaking year like clockwork. And I can tell you something. When 2K Sports was in the game, before Madden had the exclusive rights to the NFL, here's what I can tell you. 2K Sports put out such a quality game that I started buying not just Madden every year, but 2K football as well. And when I got to the point where I started enjoying 2K football more, you know what happened? EA started making Madden better because it is a basic, fundamental truth of all business. Competition is good for consumers. Because when EA has an exclusive license and they're the only company that could make a football game, there is literally zero incentive for them to be innovative, for them to be creative, for them to do anything to make that game good. Because there is no reason, because there's no one else who can come into the game and challenge them to take away their customers. Because guess what? If you like NFL football, you buy Madden, period. You have no other choice. And when that license goes away, my hope is that the NFL will never give a single license exclusive right contract to any company, not just to EA. I don't. If 2K Sports comes back into the game, I don't want 2K Sports to get an exclusive right to it. I want competition so that if there's an innovative, smart, creative developer who can come out with a game and look at the flaws in Madden and say, you know what, we can do better. You know who wins? Football-loving gamers. Period. That's who wins, as well as that company who does a better job. And then, you know what? If EA says, look, we're losing market share, maybe we have to put a little bit more money into Madden. And guess what? 2K Sports just dropped a killer football mobile game. They took a bunch of our revenue. What do you need to do to win it back? It's really simple. Make a better game than 2K. If you do that, guess what? Football-loving gamers are going to do one thing. They're going to play the best football game out there. Period. They are. And I don't know. Does anybody know when Slade, do you know when that contract is over? Is it like 2 more years or?
Let me look it up. I'll look it up real quick.
Hey, Slay's checking. I probably could have checked myself, but you know, my phone is. I don't want to like pull up Google and start doing that. I'm hesitant to ever leave my gaming because of some. I don't even want to mention it because somebody may try and do it. Somebody did something when I was streaming one time. Thankfully, all like notifications don't come through when I'm in the game. But if I jumped into like a web browser, notifications can come through. When I'm on a live stream, I won't ever have it up where I can get notifications for security reasons. So that's why I'm hesitant to just hop over to Google and Google it myself here on the stream.
Okay, so let's see. One person's answer was, "It doesn't matter. They keep renewing it." That's not helpful. I think it's So it was supposed to expire after 2013. It won't come up until at least 2020. So I think it's looking like they have exclusive rights to make it all the way up until 2020. But apparently they've been doing really small year contracts where they will do like a 2-year, and they keep doing it.
Gotcha. Man, all I can say is for gamers, for NFL fans, and honestly for EA, I hate to say it, but for EA, it'd be better if they didn't have that. And I know people are like, well, how's that? You know, they'll lose people to 2K. Well, guess what? They're EA. If 2K comes out and makes a better game, guess what? Invest in your damn game and make a better game than 2K. And actually, like, put in what it takes to get that. And, I mean, I still think, because I remember, like, and I don't know, maybe I'm remembering wrong because it was over a decade ago. But, you know, like, when I think about the whole 2K Sports, like, I feel like 2K Sports, like, hit a place where 2K Sports was better than Madden. But when I think of the final year of 2K Sports, where I had both, like, the last 2K Sports right before EA got the exclusive contract as well as Madden, I think Madden was still a better game in the final year. I think, like, a year before the final year of 2K, I think 2K was better. But I think that final year, EA did put out a better football game than 2K, even though it was there. But the reason for that was competition. 2K Sports came up with a better football game than EA, and it forced EA to step up their game. And ever since they got that exclusive contract, it's just there's no reason for EA to do anything different. There's no reason for them to do anything other than give the game a facelift and keep 90% of the game the same. You know, like you said, you know, I love that idea where you threw out, hey, it's the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl does all of these skill drills and things like that. How cool would it be if we did a combination of all these ideas we've been talking about all night, Slay, where, you know, where I say instead, you know, we're having a Pro Bowl promo. Instead of having, you know, 5 players, you have 20 players, and you drop your price point from $100 per player down to $25 per player. And, you know, instead of having like one quarterback, how about you have all of the Pro Bowl quarterbacks out there and you do a skill drill live event, right? There's a skill drill live event where you do it once with Tom Brady. You do it once with Phillip Rivers. You do it once with whoever's there. And all of these masters that are available to buy for $25, you can preview them in these skill drills. So you can see, boy, does this master Tom Brady throw it a little bit better than this master Drew Brees? And you can make your decision then, hey, I'm going to spend my $25 on this quarterback or on this running back. If you took this combination, and that's what I think. And no, I agree. Triple threat, you hit that. I agree. That does take actual work. You are 100% correct. And right now, there's zero incentive for EA to put in the work that takes. Why? Because nobody else can put in the work that it takes. But I can tell you right now, if something like that was there, if there were 5 different companies that were making NFL football games, and there was a company that just happened to have an executive that showed up in this chat and was listening to me and Slay talk, and they said, man, these guys are coming up with some good ideas. If EA doesn't do this, what if we do this in our football game? Because I can tell you right now, it's a fundamental law of business and competition. If there is an opportunity for a company to innovate in a way that will create a competitive advantage, if they have the ability to do that, someone will find a way to do that because they are profit driven. EA has no incentive to put in the work it takes to do that because they know with 100% certainty that even if there is someone who's willing to put in the work to do that, they can't because of the licensing issue. That's the cold hard truth of why EA is allowed to be lazy. Because they have no reason to force them to not be lazy. Because you know what? They can be lazy, and guess what? If you're a football fan, you buy our product or you don't get a product. That's the bottom line. You get Madden or you don't play a football video game. Or you play some podunk football game that doesn't have the players you love, doesn't have the teams you love. And because of that, they know that they can't sell the good ones. So, I mean, I watched, like, QJB put out a couple of videos of, like, these other football games that are, like, not Madden. And I think one of his videos was like, yeah, if you don't like Madden, you could play this. And you watch the game, and it's a far inferior game. It's just a crap game. But it's a game they put together that they know they're going to sell on Xbox for $20 instead of $70. And they designed the game as such. It's an inferior game. But if those companies could get those rights to it and they realize, hey, we could make a $70 game because we also have NFL players. And if we make our $70 game better than EA's $70 game, once people catch on that we're making a better $70 game, people are going to buy our $70 game. I think that's the biggest problem as gamers we face as a lack of competition in the NFL space. And
all right, well,
yeah,
my phone is about to die.
Yeah, Slay, hey, everybody, can we get a thick in the chat? Thank you so much, Slay, for stopping in, hanging out with me, giving us your time.
Oh, of course.
And, man, you've given, man, just, I thought this was a great conversation, man. Thank you so much. I know we've chatted about Madden stuff, so thank you, guys. Thanks for the thicks in there. Thank you for supporting. And, Slay, thanks for your time, man, coming in here. I really, really enjoyed this, man. And it's a good time because I'm going to be honest, it's 12:30. I am about to go make myself a cup of coffee, so I'm going to run a Project to Heal video that talks about all of this. But thank you, guys. Thank you, Slay. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of it with the ideas. And Slay, have a wonderful night, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys as well, too.
Alrighty, man. Bye-bye.